Okay, I'll go like this, but stand
Can you
here.
tell what?
You're in the show. I think you'll be starting soon. Does it do something?
That's the show.
Yes.
I'm breaking out, I'm breaking in. I just can't help this state I'm in. I'm on my way, y'all. So put your shades on, this light's so bright, it's blinding. I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love. Breaking free, I'm breaking ground. I can't explain this thing I found. The clouds have moved on. I got my groove on. This pep in my steps infectious. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I've been stuck in a rut. I've been shit out of luck. I've been wondering what is up with me. And then I realize it's up to me to decide. I can just be radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. Radiating love, radiating love, radiating love. Radiating love, radiating love, radiating love.
Okay. Unmuted your mic. 3.
You are an irresistible magnet with the power to attract to yourself everything you desire. Hey, welcome everyone. We are here in the heat wave of Southern California. We're playing outside today. We are moving outside. We are going from within to without, bringing and manifesting all our greatest good. I'll take my sunglasses off just for a few minutes to be polite and welcome you to the New Thought Spiritual Center Sunday celebration. I'm Reverend Jay Willick. I am the senior minister here at the New Thought Spiritual Center, and we want to welcome you to our hour of joy and music and spirit and bringing you tools for the best of your life. So we're going to start off by, I want to show you what our banner, this is the banner of the month. We have 3 banners and we're going to go to the statement of principles in a moment, but we are highlighting our mission statement today, and we'll get back to that after we do the statement of principles. And here's that video right now.
Our purpose is to reveal the divinity in you by awakening our heart, mind, and imagination to the universal creative force within. Our vision is to vibrate at the speed of the divine, experiencing our best self by being a clear, luminous, and dynamic force for good, with love always being the answer. And our mission, to use the principles and tools of the science of mind and spirit, new thought, neuroscience, and ancient wisdom to bust through, soar, and zoom into our greatest life, sharing that gift with all. principles. I am now here in some shade, and I'll be staying here in the shade for the rest of the time, but I wanted to show you this beautiful area that we get to play in this morning. I wanted to tell you that we have a new month. Welcome to a new month. It is September, and our theme for September is ease. So all month we're going to talk about what it takes, what we can do, how we can be to equal ease in our lives. E-A-S-E, ease. So like I said, our mission statement is what we are highlighting today. Can you see it from, yeah, you can kind of see it from here. It is bust through, soar, and zoom. And when we bust through, soar, and zoom, when we are vibrating at the speed of the divine, whew, boy, is that divinity revealed in our lives. So we're going to highlight our mission statement all month, and we're going to talk about it as well as our theme of ease. So now, as I wipe some sweat off of my brow, let us step into the sacred moments of our celebration this morning. We like to combine fun and spirit and heart and tools that come from neuroscience, etc., in our celebration every week. But right now, let's step into some moments connecting purposefully and intentionally with spirit. So here we go. So I have rung us into our moment of sacred spirit. As we step into a guided meditation, let us close our eyes together and take a deep breath. Hold it, 3, 2, 1, and let it out through your mouth. Join me in doing this again together. Hold it, 3, 2, 1, and let it out. Last week I brought in this idea of a intentional mindful yawn. So along with our deep breaths, let's do a mindful intentional yawn. You might be faking it, you're probably faking it, and go ahead and try it and watch and feel and see how your mind opens up, how your brain actually expands as we do this intentional, mindful yawn. Are you ready? Here we go. And let's do it again. It opens your body, it stretches your mind, it gets synapses firing in your brain. So right now, let's get comfortable. Whatever that means to you, I suggest you put your feet on the ground or cross-leg them if that's comfortable for you as we step into this guided meditation. I'm going to cross my legs. Maybe put your hands on your thighs or on your knees. Open them up. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, you can put them at a soft focus. We have a little revolving mandala on the screen for a few minutes for you to stare at, to look at in your soft focus, and breathe. Breath, life, expansion, transformation as we feel and fill our bodies with oxygen, as we oxygenate our entire being. Now allow that energy from Mother Earth to join with us purposefully, However you feel you want to connect to that power, to that energy. There's a deep, powerful energy on Mother Earth, in Mother Earth, for Mother Earth. So let this Gaiac energy flow up through you, through your feet, up your legs, around and around, circling through your body and back down to the earth. It's a vibration. It's a buzz. And surrounding you, seemingly feeling like it's coming from above you, but it's coming from all around you. Feel not only the power of the sun, like I am feeling sitting outside, but the power of the universe, the cosmos, that energy from the Big Bang pouring into you. Invite it, allow it, be aware of it, vibrating and buzzing, zipping through your body, concentrating on all the energy centers in your body, and breathe. Any thoughts, any sounds, even the sound of my voice, just allow it to pass through and go its merry way. All this month, I'm going to be reading out of the Heart of the Enlightened book by Anthony DeMello. It's a book of story meditations. A young man came to a master and asked, "How long is it likely to take me to attain enlightenment?" Said the master, 10 years. The young man was shocked. "So long?" he asked incredulously. Said the master, "No, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. It will take you 20 years. And the young man asked, "Why did you double the figure?" And said the master, "Come to think of it, my friend, in your case, it will probably be 30. Some people will never learn anything because they grasp everything too soon. Wisdom, after all, is not a station you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. If you travel too fast, you will miss the scenery. To know exactly where you're headed may be the best way to go astray. Not all those who loiter are lost." Oh. Some people will never learn anything because they grasp everything too soon. Wisdom, after all, is not a station you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. If you travel too fast, you will miss the scenery. Take a deep breath with me. Let it out. Keep your eyes closed right at that soft focus. And if you would, put your hand on your heart. Put the name of an idea, a person, an organization that you feel at this time needs healing. For this is a prayer, a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative moment of healing. We know there is one mind, one power. That power is love. That power is grace. That power is healing. And as we intentionally bring that healing power into our minds and hearts at this moment, as we allow it to bring into the gut of our body, inspiration, imagination, information that is required for us to step into this healing mode. We do so in gratitude. We do so in fullness. We do so right now, knowing that the power and presence of spirit, of love, of God, of the divine, of whatever you choose to name it, brings its healing light upon this name, this person, this idea, this organization that is being spoken in each of our hearts. The light is there. The love is there. The expertise is there. Everything and anything that is required, desired, or needed is brought into the life of this person, this organization, this idea that is highlighted, that is illuminated in our hearts right here and right now. And it is with great joy that I release this word, this healing power, this healing light. Release it to shine upon this name, this idea, this organization. Grateful for you, grateful for me, grateful for this word. Knowing that the universe does its work right here and right now. As together we say, and so it is. Take a deep breath, put your hands back down upon your knees or your thighs or wherever they were before. Breath. Let it out. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, shake shoulders, open eyes, and welcome back. That was great. That was fun. Thank you for joining me in doing that. It is very powerful, and I know that whomever or whatever was spoken in your heart, that person, that organization was reached by this healing power. So we're going to continue with some sacred reading next, and I believe we have a special guest today, and that is Reverend Jamie Klein. Jamie, are you there? Is he there? I heard him a little bit. Oh, there's 3 cameras going on. Oh, there you are. How you doing, buddy?
Here I am. I see my mic is open, so now you get to or have to hear me also.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you because it doesn't echo. So we're gonna later. I'll give you a little what's going to happen today. We're going to talk later. We're out here. Let me just lead on to you. We'll talk about stuff later, okay?
Absolutely. I look forward to that. So I will then move us into sacred reading, affirmative affirmation, our song, and just keep this beautiful energy that Reverend Jay created, brought forth, instilled into this service. And I just want to speak into that, into this sacred space that is already present. And so for our reading today, I'm going a little new school, old school. By that, I mean I'm going back to the Bible, but being raised Jewish, I'm going from the New Testament. So that's my new school of the old school. And so this reading comes from the book of Isaiah. If you're reading along at home, it's chapter 65, verse 24. And it is this: and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are speaking, I will hear. To me, that speaks to the faith in prayer. And that's prayer, the thing, the prayer being spoken, and prayer, the person doing the praying. And so if we know that our prayers are answered before they're asked, and all that remains is to simply decide how we're going to spend the time between the ask and the experience of the answer. And that brings us to today's affirmative incantation from Reverend Jay. And so it is this: today I affirm that I live a life of ease and blessing, no matter the conditions in front of me. I remember at all times that all the power, expertise, and strength, anything that I am required to know, do, or be, is already flowing within, waiting to be tapped, revealed, opened, and surrendered to, inspired and empowered from, and gratefully used to fulfill my life's purpose. I see my declarations as already done in mind, and I am lovingly led down the perfect path with the best action steps necessary to accomplish all my goals. From this moment on, I step into my wow is me life, totally immersed in spirit and harmoniously balancing the being of my life with the doing of my life. And so taking that incantation, that divine spell cast from within, I bring it into this truth and this knowing, this understanding, this truth that is spoken, that is the experience of the world, the universe of infinite possibilities, brought to the experience of form, of time, and of space. And that is the purpose of prayer. And so I take this prayer as the spoken prayer, as the one praying, knowing that it is a truth for each and every aspect of creation, each and every aspect of creator. And I simply know this, that life is unfolding perfectly, that every prayer is answered. And so when I look at the aspects of experiencing creation, when I look at this life in the realm of abundance, I see it pictured abundantly in this moment, knowing that all needs are met and all desires are supported along the path of their experience. When I look at life through the lens of creative expression, I know that truth is the beauty of art, of the knowing of the divine intelligence of life in form. And so that how I choose to create in every form is that truth and beauty brought to light and brought to life. And I look through the lens of my health, and I know that I am a vibrant picture of existence, because life is expressing perfectly in all moments, at all times, in all forms. And so I relish the experience of this picture in form as I look at myself and as I see the world without, just as within, perfectly expressing, perfectly evolving. And when I look through the lens of love, I see it unconditionally present, in every moment, in every form, in every aspect of creation, so that all that I take in is taken in through the knowing of love, and all that I express is expressed through the understanding of love. Understanding that love is the prayer asked and the prayer answered in every moment. And so grateful to know all of this as the truth that I am in all that is. I simply release the prayer to do the work it is already done, knowing that that work, that prayer is already answered. And I am grateful for the process of time and light and form that unfolds perfectly in an ever-present, constant reminder of the prayer answered yes. And I invite and allow us to experience that together by sharing these words, and so it is. My obvious throat clog being a prayer asked and the answer already there. So I want to talk a little bit about why I chose the song that we're going to share in today. For many in our community, we are still in the process of saying goodbye to our great friend, Terry Taylor, and really knowing that we are saying goodbye in form alone. But still, it's a process that we go through. And we do so we can move into the hello, to the everywhere that he still is in this world. That there is never any separation or connection from the source that we all emanate from. And so we let go of where we don't see and embrace where we do. And for me, no one was better in creating a world where he was everywhere unseen than Fred Rogers. He was very purposefully never seen in the world of make-believe, even though he was present in all of it. It was all his voices and all his creation. And when he left our sight from, for, and through his belief in good, I like to think that he was created by the image he expected. And just as having been with Terry as he was preparing himself for the same journey and having journeyed with him, also meant the heart of his own creation and creator. And so with one more sip, as Ram Dass says, we're all just walking each other home. So having done that with Terry and knowing that in time we are doing this lovingly all for each other, here's this. And I saw that you were leaving your earthly plane, believing you'd done the best that you could with yourself. And the angels asked to meet you on exalted wings to greet you. I said, I think he knows the way by himself. Slip off his jacket one more time. Take comfort in the sweater that he'll find. And board the trolley that will leave it all behind. Heaven made believe. And we'll say, welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. It's time you're coming home. I want to thank you for the children you work so hard to help believe in. The love that they could always find in themselves. With all the heart and imagination in the world that you created. I know a little bit about that myself. So slip off your jacket one more time. Take comfort in the sweater that you'll find. Or the trolley that will leave it all behind and have a make-believe. And we'll say, welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. This time you're coming home. Daniel Tiger, striped and shy. No King Friday thinks he's riding high. The fear is running round. Baby Abilene keeps her feet upon the ground. You give us all these points of view to show us how we're special. 'Cause you're you. So hang up your jacket one last time. A beautiful day waits outside. Just board the trolley and leave it all. Finally head for make-believe. And we'll say, welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood. It's time you're coming home. You're coming home. You're coming home. Namaste, all.
You're coming home.
I'm coming out.
Home. Well, Jamie will be back with us in not too long. But first, it's just all about me for a few minutes. Welcome home. You're always home here at the New Thought Spiritual Center, and we of course appreciate that you're here. Appreciate that you are in our community. So, today my talk title is "Labor No More." Now, it's not about pregnancy. It's not about anything that you would think laboring in pregnancy would equal, but it's about stopping the labor gloom. You had a few. And it's part of life to have some laborious thoughts of doom and gloom, but how long do they stay there? That's the point. It's about ease of having faith in our lives. Makes our psyche and our life move easier and freer. We talked a little bit about that. It's about unplugging by plugging in, and it's about entering no toil zone. That's what we're doing today.
It's not looking
We're
good.
entering the no toil zone. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, tomorrow, of course, most of you know, if not everybody, we celebrate Labor Day. And Labor Day is a holiday that's been around for 115 years or something like that. Labor, of course, is about the exertion of energy by body and or mind in productive work, striving toward a goal. That is a dictionary explanation. But labor can also equate to being servile or toiling. And that's where we want to draw the line. Servile is when we keep up with the Joneses, or when we have some sort of sociological or familial imprint of how success looks. and that we do everything based on that. When we do it that way, we are toiling, because our mind is only about the success, only about the keeping up with the other people or whoever those other people are. Do you think that a hard life of mental and physical toil adds up to a prosperous life? You have to decide that. You have to decide that's your perspective. Remember, our yearly theme is perspective. If you do feel that mental and physical toil will bring you a prosperous life, then it will. Then you get to do that. And that's okay too. But the point is, you don't have to. You don't have to toil. I want to ask you a question that you can answer out loud or put it in the chat if you'd like, for those who are on Facebook. What do you do the first hour of your day? Now, I know the usual things people do. They brush teeth, they go to the restroom, blah, blah, blah. But in that first hour, are you looking at your emails? Are you checking your voicemail or your texts? Are you on social media? Are you doing anything with that phone or your version of this computer that I'm speaking through? Now, that's not labor. That's being toiled. That's being attached to it, and nothing else really matters. If that's the first thing we do in the morning is to connect ourselves with that electronic, we are so attached to it, we are toiling our lives. Now, I know emergencies happen, and I know deadlines happen, so I know there are a lot of exceptions, but I'm asking about the majority of your time. See, when we check in with emails and texts before we nourish ourselves for the beginning of our day, what we're doing is we are checking in with other people's problems. We're checking in with other people's agendas, other people's needs and priorities, not ours. Though they may coincide sometimes, we want to start acting and stop reacting. Do you get what I mean? So when we're on emails, we're reacting to that email. We're not acting upon our personal agenda. Similarly, in the last hour of your day, are you on social media on that last hour? Are you doing emails and texts? Are you finishing off your day on an electronic, sort of like where my notes are? If so, I ask you to rethink that. In the morning, instead of getting on electronics after you've done your morning ablutions, write out your agenda for the day. Write out your needs for the day. Write out your priorities for the day. 5 or 4 things, or maybe just the one thing that will make the rest of your day easy. Similarly, at night, get off social media in that last hour. Try not to watch television in that last hour. All those electronics, all that blue light, if you want to get into all that, but all that activity in your brain makes for restless sleep because your brain stays active. The synapses keep firing on the problems and agendas and the needs of other people. Take a digital break an hour before you go to sleep. That's part of the no toil zone. Remember, where our focus goes, so too goes everything else in our universe, in our personal universe. Where your focus goes shows up in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your body chemistry, and of course in your experiences, because that's what the law of cause and effect reads. It reads our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs and our perspectives on life. Where our focus and faith goes, so too goes our thoughts and feelings. Where our thoughts and feelings go, so too go our beliefs. And where our beliefs go, so too go our experiences. It's time for next level thinking, next level courage, next level action, a new perspective now that we are in this last quarter of the year 2020. Even in your imperfection, and we all do imperfect action, We make mistakes. We think doing this way would be the best way, and then we find out it isn't, and then we learn from that. We move on. That is imperfect action. And yet there's perfection in that imperfect action because we are learning from it. We are moving forward from it. I want to read a quote from Charles Fillmore from his book, Talks on Truth. He said, "Man is the builder, and to him," and of course, her or them as well, "are given all the materials out of which to construct the temple which they dwell. He builds in wisdom or in ignorance according to his receptivity to the sphere of intelligence within him, or her, or they, or them." So how you choose to use this intelligence, how you choose to reveal it, how you choose to tap into it, you choose to be receptive and aware of it, equals to either a life of toil and drudgery and continued depression and sadness, where you sit in a dark cave like the witches in Macbeth. You remember the witches in the Macbeth? They sat in a cave and they were honoring the false gods of anxiety, fear, lack, and difficulty. They were brewing this hate-filled, lack-filled energy. They were screaming. Do you remember this scene? Have you seen this? Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. And we all do that, and we live this toil, woe is me life. But instead of eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg, owlet's wing, we throw into our cauldron, mind and heart and gut. We throw in toe of struggle, nose of pain, eye of bad news, heart of hopelessness, and wings of worry. And we start, as Corrie ten Boom called, a cycle of inefficient thoughts whirling around a center of fear. Something William Inge tells us bears interest paid on trouble before it comes due. Like worrying. It is a woe is me life. Woe is me, there's too much work. Woe is me, there's not enough time. Woe is me, fill in the blank for yourself. Now, we've all been in a state of shock with what's going on with COVID, and some have stepped into frustration and anger, especially by now, all these months later. And many of us, and I've talked to many of you over the week, have stepped into sadness and even depression, and I know it, and I have felt it, and I am with you. And I honor you, and I do affirmative prayer with, for, and as you. But our next level, if you're not there, is of acceptance mode. Accepting what's going on. Not liking it, not condoning it, but accepting it so that we can step through it. It's the way it is for now. It's the way it may be for a few months more. And yet in that, we can start remembering, we can start reminding ourselves, we can start insisting on the truth that divinity is revealed right here and now, and it is available to each and every one of us all the time. We are always at choice. We may need to pivot, we may need to shift, like we have done, and all other spiritual centers have done in their Sunday services and celebrations, like many people who have done, who are entertainers, like many people who have done, who have the regular 9-to-5ers. We've had to shift and pivot. Corrie ten Boom, another quote from her. By the way, she was a Christian from the Netherlands, and when she was little, her family helped save 800 Jewish lives during the Nazi occupation. She wrote, "It is not my ability, but my response to God's ability that counts. It is not my ability, but my response to God's, the divine spirit, divine intelligent presence, the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. It's my response to that power's ability that counts." We want to enter the no toils zone. So I want to give you a quick tool, and then I'll bring back our great guest today. A great great tool to stay in the wow is me mode and the no toil zone is to set 4 alarms. Now, any of your phones, any of your smartphones at the very least, will allow you to set an alarm. And a lot of times you'll be able to put a voice memo with that alarm, or music with that alarm, of course. This is what you do. 4 steps. First, your wake up alarm. Make your own wake up alarm. Don't depend on just some radio station or your regular nice music. That is great, but add something like this. And you want to do it in your own words and your own way that's going to empower you. But something like this. Good morning. Today's going to be great, no matter what. I know, get up and read your affirmative incantation. Then have a rockin' day. Next, about 11 a.m., have an alarm. And the message is, what are you focusing on right now? It's 11 o'clock. You've probably been working for at least a couple hours, maybe even more. Take a break. Take a mental break from what you're doing. Take a mental break from staring at that computer. Take a mental break from sitting in that maybe very ergonomic chair. But get your butt up and focus on something else for just a few minutes. Next, 3 p.m., an alarm. Look around. This is the message. Look around at all your blessings. Count your blessings. Less than 5 minutes. Count your blessings. Breathing is a blessing. Standing up is a blessing. Thinking great thoughts about your loved one is a blessing. Whatever they are, count your blessings. And then the last hour before you sleep, have an alarm, whatever time that may be. And on it, say something similar to this. Reflect on the good that happened today, no matter how small. Read your affirmative incantation and have a beautiful, restful sleep. Pleasant dreams. If you do that simple, easy, and yet powerful tool, you will not only step into an ease of life, a perspective of being blessed and being grateful and being focused on those positive things in your life, but you will bring into your life, through this positive thinking, through this optimized thinking, your great experiences. So now I want to continue by bringing back our sacred reader for another episode. Are you ready, Steve? Roll that video. I surprised him, but here we are. It's running, but it's only 10 seconds. Okay. So, we're going to walk inside for this section because I guess this video is not so great. So, give me one moment. Are you gonna?
He's gonna do the affirmation.
Okay. So Steve's gonna put the affirmation up, the affirmative and right back with you in. high. It was crazy. The other computer outside, I guess, wasn't that great. So we're going to continue. I want to talk to Jamie a couple of questions, and we're so fortunate to have Jamie every once in a while. And so we when I do, I love to have two Jews walk into a church. So I have a couple questions for you, and let's discuss this. You brought up faith, which is great. And also thank you again for bringing up Terry Taylor. For those who weren't here last week, Terry Taylor was a dear friend of both Jamie and I and many of the people at the New Thought Spiritual Center. He was in our ministerial class and became a minister, not during our class, but a few years later on his time. And he because there's no was. He is a very powerful energy, Terry Taylor, of supporting spiritual centers and supporting people in their time, and a great man of great, powerful prayer. Wow. But anyway, so I'm so glad that you brought that up and that you brought faith up. And I wanted to ask you, what does that word mean to you, faith? Because I had a whole thing in my talk about it, and I took it out to try to be short, which I wasn't, and I apologize. But faith.
No, short's a relative thing.
Yes.
In thinking about that, I start with, because it's so ingrained in me, but faith is the Emerson, or starts from the Emerson understanding. It's the belief in things unseen.
Yeah.
But it also goes into the affirmative incantation and even the reading I had. If the prayer is answered before it's uttered, and I've always loved that idea, the belief in that is the faith. And it's grown for me, not as faith as that it will work as I asked for it in a controlling kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But it will work as I have prayed it to be, and I will recognize it as it shows up in form. So faith is that whatever this is what I prayed for. And it's become completely non-judgmental. So it's not like, oh, I prayed for this suffering or this car accident or this winning lottery ticket. I pray for the winning lottery ticket.
Sure, why not?
And to a point, it hasn't showed up in the way that will have me stop playing the lottery. But when the tickets come up and it's not all of my numbers, I have no disappointment in that. Somebody won, or there's more for the next thing, but I'm grateful that the process works.
Yes.
And when it is my time, and that's not a spiritual bypass, but there's a whole universe going on that we're connected. And if I think I'm going to control by getting 6 numbers in a row, I'm probably not paying attention to enough stuff.
But spiritual bypass, so much has to do with you not taking action, or a person not taking action.
Right.
And yes, affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment is an action. But when we close off our faith and don't listen to the inspiration and the knowledge that's coming through what I call the gut, some people hear it in their head, whatever, or it's a feeling. When you don't listen to that and take that action, whatever it is, now you're stepping into spiritual bypass in that I just speak my word, because New Thought says speak your word, or any new agey kind of stuff says speak your word, do your prayer, whatever it is, and then sit down and wait.
Right. Well, absolutely. It's and I don't want to harp on it with the lottery ticket, but it's a convenient example. It's Ernest Holmes teaching: treat, move your feet.
Right.
I really can't win the lottery if I don't have a lottery ticket.
That's right. And if you don't
pick
the numbers and pay the $2 or whatever it is.
And in a more practical sense, I'm moving my purpose in form into a more expanded version of the hospice work that I do. So part of that has to do with credentialing. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm more than qualified to do the work. I do the work, and it's a beautiful experience, but people who don't know me or maybe don't know our teaching and what it stands for.
Yeah.
So I've got some degrees to get, some credentials to get, and I'm moving my feet in the direction of doing that. But it's also not like, oh, I need my master's of divinity. I need these things and then I'll be seen. It's like, I'm going in this direction towards certain degrees, and I'm going to keep my eyes wide open. because I will see something along the way that may call my attention to move my feet in that direction.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wait until I've crossed that finish line and now I can begin.
Yeah.
I do the work now like I did with Terry, and
Yeah.
something will show up along with it. No,
Yeah.
we need you here now.
Yeah.
So I'm moving my feet. So the universe, this thing I'm a part of, recognizes my conscious cooperation with the perfect unfolding of experience.
Right. And that's a perfect example because as a minister, and even if you weren't a minister, you are not only qualified, but you are quantified in that piece of paper that you and I have that says we're ministers, and that we went through all these years of study, qualifies you for being a hospice person. But certain organizations insist on certain other kinds of pieces of paper that equate some study in order for you to do it professionally beyond our community, let's say. So that's you taking action.
Right.
And yet you are already qualified to do it in the world of doing it. And, I've been witness to that.
Yes, you have.
And-
shared in that.
And I'm glad you brought hospice up because that's one of my questions. I wanted to ask you to, thank you, to tell me a little bit about it, which you did. And most recently, you spent some time with Terry, Reverend Terry, and helped him along his way to his next adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a man who always liked adventure, boy. Him and Marilyn constantly running around this world.
Oh, absolutely.
Going places even when he wasn't feeling well. Amazing these adventurers. My question is, how would you hospice all of our feelings, and some of us going through more than feelings,
Mm-hmm.
that has to do with COVID? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I think so. Well, go ahead. It sounds like you have more to say
Well,
on it.
COVID has a lot of effect on all of us.
Yes.
Whatever it is, it's from a lot to from different kinds of feelings, from effects because you lost your job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there comes a time, and I was talking about that when I was talking about stepping through that and being accepting of that, not condoning it, but being accepting of that. But there, either through ritual or through just changing your thoughts and feelings about it, there is a hospice that we can go through to move through this journey of what many people now are feeling sad and depressed about what's going on in their lives because of the pandemic. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, and thank you for expanding into all of that, because it gives me a moment to expand into the idea of hospice. Now, we of course socially think of hospice as a very specific term. Someone is nearing end of life, and then I will do it, like life as we know it in
Yes.
form.
Yes.
And I want to also respect for anyone listening and end of life, because that also carries with it a feeling and an understanding beyond the words spoken. So I really don't want to give it, if you don't define it our way, then it doesn't count.
Oh no, of course.
So it's an end of a way of being, certainly.
Yes.
And that ties it in the first sense to the COVID conditions that we're experiencing, because COVID has simply given us an end to doing things the way we've done things.
Yeah.
And that is with no judgment whatsoever, but we lived a life this way. And when people talk about returning to normal, what the normal really is a usual.
Yes.
It's not because there were we all wanted change, and people had their feelings about 2019 and 2020 will be better. And it's like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So all of that and whatever anyone's feelings about the passage of time are. But, so this is the new normal, meaning this is the new usual, because we've had 6 months and we have a way of functioning with this.
Mhm.
And so we do. But at some point, for whatever reason, COVID, the virus that's impacting this, will pass, because that's what viruses do.
Yes.
They come in, and immunities will be there through natural process,
Right.
whatever it all will be.
Right.
But the virus is on its own timeline and will come and go to do whatever it's here to do. And so we will move into something else, a new usual that over time becomes a new normal. So hospice is this journey from what we know to what we don't. From the known to the mystery. And that's, in the bedside, that's really what it is. And so for me, that process in conditions that aren't, well, I won't say life-threatening, but aren't the typical hospice, the process is the same. So for me, it always begins with, now, whether I know someone as I did with Terry or not, when I first am with them or meeting them, my first thing is to check in and in a sense, like, how are you doing right now? What are you feeling right now? Because if you're, no pun intended, and forgive me, but deathly afraid of what's about to happen.
If you're freaked out,
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's a real feeling.
Yeah.
In a universe of infinite possibilities, there are no lies. Everything is true.
Oh, wow.
And it's not, I've stopped believing in false truths, because why wrong? Why shame someone because that's what they're experiencing in the moment?
Right.
So
well, there's the macro truth, I guess you could say, and what you feel in the moment is a fact, and you call it a truth.
Right.
It's
Well, it's
your
the
truth
truth
right
of
now.
the experience.
Yeah, truth of the experience. Okay.
And so we're in this experience. I want to meet someone where they're at with their experience. And that doesn't mean I will be afraid with them, because I have my beliefs about transition and what it is, and it allows me to do the work through that. I've had my own experiences with, almost dying and all of that. Another side story for another time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But it's meeting someone where they're at, and then helping them get to the place where they're ready to travel. It's getting someone comfortable in the journey. So we all have, however we feel right now in the COVID conditions in 2020. We're either comfortable, and great. If we're comfortable, then please share and celebrate that.
Yes.
But if there's discord and disconnect and divisiveness and some other alliterative, uncomfortable feeling, let's look at that, and let's just look at it. That's where the beautiful impersonal nature of the teaching is, because there's no judgment. If you're afraid, okay, let's meet you in your fear. What are you afraid of? And either it's going to, again, with hospice at the bedside, there's a time frame. So either it has to be okay to be afraid, and I will hold your hand, and my soul will hold your soul's hand, and we will journey together. Because it's not about getting someone to the edge and saying goodbye. Hospice is the journey through the veil to the other side. It does not end when they take their last breath. The journey actually continues, and you really kind of hand someone off to the next experience.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so this comes into belief, and also reported experience near death. I can do a whole hour.
Sure, there's a whole, yes.
There's but it's not just saying goodbye at this juncture. It is, I will walk with you until you are comfortable walking with yourself, however far that journey is, and that's the journey.
It's almost a new hello in a way.
Absolutely. So I will, whether I have the experience of meeting whom, and whom is sort of this colloquialism for like the soul, the energy that people step into.
Yeah.
That's really currently present now.
Yeah.
Like, we know this. So to do this in the social level, when we are assuming we're still drawing breaths, it's the Ram Dass that I mentioned earlier, that we're all just walking each other home. It's just a matter of time and space as far as when that home is realized. We can do it now, and we can be honest about our feelings and decide if we want to keep feeling them. And that's where our teachings come in great, because if you don't want to feel what you're feeling, something can be done about it.
Yeah.
And whether it's understanding a deeper truth about what we've attached to, because really we're afraid of something, and it's the thing that we're afraid of that attaches the feeling and holds it in place, because feelings come and go. When we give them a story, they stop and stay.
I think that's kind of the most important thing about this discussion is having faith in the power that we have already that's within us. And if you don't feel you don't have that power, if you go back in your past and look at things that you have brought into your life, you may think, well, I paid for them, but you had to make the choice to go look for it, to go decide you were going to get it, to raise the money to get it if it was something that had to have financial means. Those choices are faith in yourself to do the work, whether it's mental or physical or usually both. That is a faith in yourself. And this idea of hospice, of feeling the feelings, recognizing the feelings, and allowing them to go through you and out of you. And that happens by recognizing the feelings and giving them their due. Now, giving them their due doesn't mean that you're just going to sit there with bonbons for weeks and allow it to drench you in whatever, usually some sort of sadness or depression. There comes a point where your awareness, and sometimes it's really minuscule, sometimes it's really just a teeny little spark where you got to grab hold of it and go, yes, I do have the power to decide this feeling doesn't need to be here anymore. Absolutely. And then you open up to allowing the universe, or whatever you want to call it, God, to inform you what your next step is, where the pivot and the shift is going to be. And the ritual of hospice satisfies that journey.
Well, it does in the ritual of it, again, on the bedside sense, because it's now the mystery. Like, and so everyone then, so we don't know. I mean, we know what we know and believe. So it's so important then that we can all step into the mystery. But in the present,
it's still a mystery.
Absolutely.
It's a mystery of job, mystery of rent, mystery of
exactly. But even and circling back to the feeling thing, what I've discovered is, if the feeling is here, let it serve, and when it no longer serves, let it go.
Yes.
And I've gone through that. I've gone through that myself. Like, there was, because I'm home and I work in food service, which means I don't work. So there.
Blessings to all in food service.
And it's fine. And it's I don't work in a very first world way. I'm blessed that I live in a beautiful home and we're fed.
Right.
My girlfriend has a private chef at home all the time now. So there isn't a complaint at all.
Yeah.
It's me. But I've had a lot of time to not be able to hide in the busyness of life. And so some things have come up that didn't serve anymore. Like certain, and
I think that's very important.
Call it a button, and it comes up in the we have our loving relationships, and so the mirror becomes something I wasn't liking to look at.
Yeah.
And so after yelling at the mirror, and I didn't really yell, but after not treating what I saw in the mirror beautifully, which would be my loved one. Not seeing what she's reflecting of myself. Finally, it was like, oh, this is what this is that I'm looking at, that I might be projecting onto the world around me and giving it a place to stay, like giving the feeling the story.
Wow.
And it's like, this isn't serving, it's not serving my relationship, it's not serving my life. It's time to let this go. And then coming in and doing the inner work, the 4 alarms.
Yeah.
Like things like that just draw me back to the practice of.
Little things that draw you back to practice.
And I've been just making the decision to let go of, to uninstall the button. was a tremendous thing, like to let it on its way. Now I know I have to be diligent in the work.
Yeah.
Because I will be tested. Like, are you sure you want to let it go?
Yeah, of course.
Sure
we have the yelling, whirling dervishes in our brains.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that when it no longer serves you. You know that weeks later, when you're still sitting with the box of bonbons, and of course I'm totally making that up, it no longer serves you, and that's when the decision, it's time to make that decision. But being aware, being open and aware to knowing that it no longer serves you, and then you can take action in body, mind, and spirit,
and do the work and get the help when you need it. So here's a shout out to another ministerial, sister of ours. When I deal with relationship stuff, I go to Reverend Rita. Her wisdom feels
Reverend
really
Rita
right.
in Kauai.
Shout out to Kauai, but her wisdom feels right in my conversation and relationship. So she is hospicing that which no longer serves my relationship out of my experience.
Oh, that's good.
And leaving me feeling whole in its absence.
Yes.
Which is the hospice at bedside. For the people that are left at bedside, it's letting them feel whole. Like, it doesn't end with the person who is transitioned. There are people surrounding that still need to follow along with that and fill that space.
This has been great, and I know this has been long. So let's zip through, because we don't have to sing a song. Nobody's going around with baskets. Put your hand, you don't need this. Put your hand on your heart. It's time for love offerings. There's many ways to give off love offerings. We'll put those up. Go ahead and put those up while I'm talking. There's many ways to give your love offerings. There's one on the scroll, and there's one right there. You can go to our website. You go to PayPal. You go paypal.me. You can mail it to us. You'll see it on there. Ooh, there's a nice long shot. Whatever it is, whatever way you're going to do it, I don't need to describe it to you. If you have a question, call the office. I'll gladly tell you where to send your money. This is a love offering to not only this community, but to this philosophy, and getting this philosophy out continually. So let's know together that divine love consecrates our gifts. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God, or the divine, is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously give to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and it does. It does. So if you take a moment and let's do here, we'll have this represent all the love offerings coming in, and do a little spiritual mind treatment for us.
Absolutely. So just taking the word that was given, the answered prayer, rejoice. Because what we want most from the prayer is the feeling of the experience of it, however that shows up attached to or embodied in form. If it brings us joy, this is the answer to the prayer that we are asking. So in this moment, taking the energy, the currency of support in actual dollars, in the money that is the God in action, as everything is God in action, but in understanding that money is a beautiful conversation that keeps this conversation and amplifies this conversation that we have shared, that Reverend Jay and this community share every week out into a world. And so it simply echoes this truth throughout creation, for there is no place where life is where this is not. So in blessings for all that contribute to that amplification, for joining into being more of the two or more gathered in this name, and showing that support, giving till it helps, giving till it feels good, knowing that that is the first way of receiving, that good feeling of giving. That is the first of many gifts, and knowing that the universe echoes that gift in all directions. So knowing this is true, and grateful for all that is received and all that is given through the reception, I allow it to be, I allow it to flow, I welcome its experience and share it freely. And we do that together by affirming, and so it is.
And so it is. Don't forget to, and that'll pop up 1 second, like us, follow us, do all that social media wonderfulness right there. There it is. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. Some of you may be watching us on YouTube. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We're everywhere that we can be, even considering doing some TikTok stuff. But those are what, a minute and a half? They're a little shorty
I'm
thing.
going to be old on that one. I'm letting that one go. I'll wait for the next round.
So please join us on other social medias, and when you are on them, please go to the New Thought Spiritual Center. Usually it's at New Thought SC, and like us or subscribe or do all the things that you do, and that helps us as well. And we're happy to have you in our community. So we're going to move on. We're going to move past. I was going to take a dive into the pool, but it got the reception got weird out there. So that fun will be off camera. So let us now know together that there is one mind, one power. We are that power right here, right now. And our faith is solid. Our faith is solid. And we are now taking the next step in this adventure called the COVID pandemic. And that step is a healing. And that healing could be, could look like many things. Whether that healing is of the body, whether that healing is of the heart, whether that healing is of the mind, whether that healing is of our circumstances, whatever they look like, that healing is here and now. And we step into it. We are aware of it. We are allowing it to reveal itself as we tap into that divine intelligence, that divine love, that source and substance of all supply that is right here, right here within us, ready for the asking, ready for the declaration, ready for the revelation into each of our lives. We step into this with ease, with joy. We have entered the no toil zone. With love and grace and gratitude and thanksgiving, I release this word as I bless us all in this beautiful warmth that may seem hot, but so are you, and so am I. We are all hot to move forward in beautiful, wise experiences. Peace and love and blessings to all of you. Grateful that you were here. Let us end this with namaste, and so it is. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you next week, next Sunday. I have a beautiful old video for you to leave out on. This is Peter, Paul, and Mary. Thank you all. Namaste.
My brothers and sisters all over this land. Ooh, if I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and sisters all over this land. Ooh, if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh, and I got a hammer, and I got a bell, and I got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all